lines of race relations that we should all be proud of. But the thing that I want to remind you of is that in April of 1967, I believe it was, Dr. King gave a speech at the Riverside Church in New York City. And in this speech, he essentially called America to look at itself, to take a look in the mirror. Dr. King talked about the fact that for years he had been talking nonviolence, and in those latter years he had a chance to go talk to young people who were in the North and ghettos, and they questioned, we're here in this country talking about nonviolence, but our own country is solving this problem with violence in Vietnam. And so he got ostracized for that. So causing America to really look at itself in the mirror and think about the things and the hypocrisy of the things that he was doing while we're doing things opposite of that and the country was something that I think was a seminal moment for Dr. King. And so as we reflect back to the conversation that we've had today, things that were stated in the service on this morning, one of the things that I take to heart is that as the Baton Rouge Black Chamber of Commerce, we've done a very excellent job, I think, of bringing people together. When the organization was first launched, people would always ask, why you call yourself the Black Chamber of Commerce? Because we're black. And so there were many who had issues with that. And then we get questions about, well, what's the relationship with the area chamber? Now, for some folks, that might be something difficult. But for me, in our organization, we understood in order for us to be actively involved in the business community, we have to actively participate with business people. And so we've been able to develop a strong working relationship with the Baton Rouge Area Chamber. So for those of you who've always wondered about that, I just want to dispel that myth that we have an excellent working relationship with the Baton Rouge Area Chamber. But one thing that we do have in common, and so there may be differences in how we approach things. We believe, for one, that it's critical and important for programs such as the Fair Share program with the City of Baton Rouge and DBE programs at the state level are a paramount component of growing African American and minority businesses in this community, in this state. And so some people tend to disagree with that. And that's all fine and good, but I tell you the one thing that both organizations do agree with is that if we don't educate our children, then we will never thrive as a community. I'm thinking y'all don't understand what I just said.
No, we understand.
If we don't educate our children, then we will never thrive as a community. And I'm going to say a few things, and I know I have a lot of friends here in the audience, but I'm telling you, if we don't educate our children, we will never thrive as a community. I used to hear people all the time blame and criticize this organization, NAACP, for the DCED case. And I was in the midst of the conversations or whatnot, but on one side we had folks blaming the NAACP, and on the other side, we talked about white flight. The reality is that we have a school system right now where kids are graduating and they're not prepared for life. And no matter how you toss it up and how you look at it, we have children that are not prepared for life. I am a business owner, and I talk to college students all the time, not just in Baton Rouge, but all across the country that come through Southern LSU. And I'm disappointed that we're not preparing our kids for life. And so what I would ask you to do is, there are conversations that are about to begin to take place in this community on education. There are different organizations that are beginning to have conversations about education. I would ask you to keep an open mind. I'm a supporter, and I believe that we have to have a strong public school system. But I do also believe that we do have to have other options available to our children, when in fact people and parents feel like the public school system is not working for them. But that does not make me someone that's against the public school system. I'm a supporter and a proponent for charter schools. But if the charter schools are not working, then they should be shut down, just like public schools should be shut down if they're not working. I'm a proponent of private schools. But if private schools are not educating children, then kids should be pulled out of private schools. I'm a proponent of homeschooling. But if people are homeschooling their kids and their kids are not prepared to be productive citizens, then that should not work. We have to keep an open mind about what's going on with our kids. Because we've heard it said several times this morning, that there's still a disparity in what's going on in our community. Again, while we have some excellent things going on in our community, we look across the city, we have tremendous development, there are a number of job opportunities, but even from the perspective of the Black Chamber and businesses, we have people in our community that need to have a higher level of education. When we look at communities such as Scotlandville and Eden Park and Old South Baton Rouge and Gardere, pockets of poverty throughout this community that, again, while many of our leaders are doing some excellent things to address poverty, we still have to address the education situation that's going on in our community. And so as you look at these four young, the brother quoted Dr. King's speech about his four children. And so when you look at these four kids that are standing up before you today, I would ask you, as you go about your business in 2012, as you advocate for a better life for children in Baton Rouge, as you advocate for a better Baton Rouge, keep these four children in your mind. Make sure that the things that we're doing would ensure that these children have an access to a better quality of life in Baton Rouge. I've said so many times that I think Baton Rouge is the greatest place to live. And I sincerely hope that when my children are adults, that they would seek to go to Southern University. I sincerely hope that when my children finish school, that they would go to Southern University, create businesses and opportunities here in Baton Rouge. But I also know and understand that my children are going to be prepared to explore the world. And so unless we give our children right here in Baton Rouge the opportunity to make Baton Rouge the world that our children want to embrace, then we're going to continue to have the problems that we have. And so, again, keep these children in mind. Baton Rouge is a great city, and we're making great strides. Again, I want to applaud the mayor for his leadership. I want to applaud all of our elected officials for the leadership that they've shown. But I'm asking everybody that's standing back behind our elected officials, get up, get out, and let's do something to ensure that our chief of police does not have to face our children in an inappropriate circumstance, in an inappropriate situation. And let's work with our school leaders, teachers, to build education platforms that will allow our children to succeed. Thank you all for your time, and let's go out today. When you leave today, let's go out and do something that will benefit our community.